This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to jump through our multiversal portal so we can head over to the DC multiverse and look at the gold label Batgirl Cassandra Cain figure from McFarlane Toys. I found her at Target yesterday, as in yesterday from the day that I'm filming this, uh, and picked her up because I didn't realize she was coming out. And you might be noticing a theme to my DC Multiverse collection pickups here, being that they've all pretty much been Batgirls aside from the Michael Keaton Batman that came with the Batmobile. I do have the unmasked version of that. I just haven't opened it yet. Anyway, side of the box here mentions Batgirl Cassandra Cain and the Batgirls comic. And on the very back of this, we have the image of Batgirl swinging through Gotham City. Same image that's on the card. And again, we have the mention of the Batgirls comic, which had, as I recall, if it's the one I'm thinking of, they had Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, who was kind of training or teaming Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown up together. And although Stephanie Brown did not wear a Batgirl costume, as I recall, she was wearing her spoiler costume still in the issues that I read, I want to say. It's been a while. It was their attempt to capture the more fun aspect, I think, of the characters, especially since if you read the Stephanie Brown run of Batgirl episodes, issues, she was actually a fun comic character. Uh, Quite possibly with the least amount of baggage, although there does seem to be some weird stories about her. I think there was one where she actually had been pregnant at one point, whether it was Tim Drake's kid or somebody else's, who knows. I just remember vaguely that it was mentioned on the video from the guy who does the messed up moments in comics. Maybe I'll try looking for that one again. We'll open her up. We got the little figure stand. We've got a cloth cape, which is awesome. Ooh, hey, not only is it cloth, but there's actually wire in it. That's awesome. Maybe that's the difference with a gold label figure in McFarlane. Here we got her little collector card, Batgirl Cassandra Cain from Batgirls. Same image as the back of the box, as mentioned before. Usually is, to be fair, with the exception of the Jokerized ones where they have different graffiti on the two. And we see Cassandra Cain multiple times all over the card. Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, Batgirls. Real name, Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain debuted during the No Man's Land saga. She stalked earthquake-shattered Gotham City like a solitary, silent ghost, enforcing Batman's law as the fourth Batgirl. Upon officially joining the Batman family, her training was in reading, writing, and social interaction, not combat. When she learned the world's greatest killer, Lady Shiva Wuzin, was her mother, Cassandra briefly led the League of Assassins before being legally adopted by Bruce Wayne. So I did not know she was legally adopted by Bruce Wayne. And if I remember correctly from the story about her, her father had trained her from birth as an assassin to understand the language of body movement, and thus she had trouble speaking and any normal social interaction. She also had some guy mess with her mind in order to try to understand her better. This guy with some weird mutant power had kind of readjusted her mind so that she could speak and think like a normal person. And then she lost a lot of her ability to combat, which is how she ended up with Lady Shiva, I want to say. I vaguely remember reading the story. Whoops. So while I am happy that she has the cloth cape, I gotta say this is quite possibly one of the stupidest looking items I've seen. A partially launched grapple. Not only that, but the wire attached to the end of the grapple is coming out of the barrel. Like, where does this fit inside of there, and how does it launch out with all that in there? This is just, and I don't know if this is comic accurate. Somebody let me know if it is, because if it is, this is just really dumb. And some of the other grappling devices that we've seen just seem like a better design. I kind of feel like this is one that you're not going to be able to hold on to very well because it is that gun shape. And I guess it is better than some designs, like having it wrapped around your fist or whatever. She's also got a new design for a batarang, which actually kind of reminds me more of the Dark Knight Batman than anything else. But let's take a look at her. She may have some of the least amount of deco of any figure that's been released thus far that wasn't like a special edition like platinum or gold or whatever. So we got the head sculpt. Hopefully it's picking up. We do see the little lines there for where her mask is on there. Funny story on that one too, because this costume was actually designed by the Huntress. Or I should say the prototype of this version of Batgirl was designed by the Huntress. And what she had done was she was running around Gotham during No Man's Land as both the Huntress and Batgirl because Batman was out of the picture at the time, and she wanted people to see a member of the Bat family running around Gotham to give them hope. So she was like basically graffitiing the Bat symbol around herself. But she'd had the standard costume without the bottom part of the mask on it at that point, and I think she got hit with spray paint or something. So it left the paint all over her face like that, or maybe it was some weird injury or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Something got sprayed on her that left the unmasked part like really reddish or colored. And so she couldn't do the Huntress thing until that wore off. So she sewed on this bottom part of the mask to it in order to protect her face for when she was running around as Batgirl, so she wouldn't have to stop being the Huntress for a while again. Plus, any injury that she got as Huntress would have shown up underneath there too. But it was just a way to disguise herself a little better. So once again, her cape does in fact again have it. Sorry. I just think this is funny. It has the wires in it, so you are able to pose the cape. This is so much nicer than those stupid rubber capes that we've gotten on the last few figures I've looked at. Heck, let's see. You can even do the Batman spread. Anyway, I wonder how strong those wires are and when they're likely to break. So, articulation wise, the head's on a ball joint, it spins around. She can look up, she can look down, and she can look to the side, she can look up at the side. And overall, it's not bad. I think, though, I'm guessing putting any deco on the stitching would have been really difficult, but maybe having a little something in the eyes would have been nice. They don't have to be like fully visible, but just like a gloss or something to differentiate them. She's also got our bat symbol here is gray with the gold outline. I think the original variation of this costume it was fully gold, but I don't remember for sure. She also has a uniboob, so there's no like separation on her boobs at all, so no cleavage area. Which I'm not sure if that's how is that how it went with this costume. I'd kind of like to know what she's wearing for underwear underneath that in order for that to happen, or is that just the armor is in that shape? But anyway, we have a butterfly joint, pretty big one. We can hinge our arm up and we can hinge our arm down. We can spin around. When we do that, we do knock the wire in the cape out of the way so it holds back a bit. This is going to be good for doing like kind of wind posing. It'll look a little bit better, I think. We have the bicep cut. We have a double jointed elbow. All the joints are moving pretty smoothly for a change. And they don't feel like weak smooth. They feel like just like good smooth. There's some detail here on the hands. Her cuffs have little serrated ends on the back as well as the fins. I kind of want to know about customizing a version of her where the gloves and the boots were painted in this gold too. That would be kind of cool looking, I think. But we do have a boob cut for her under her uniboob, so she can spin it all around with that ball joint. The waist moves a little bit. One of these days, I might actually have to take apart one of these. If I can get a good figure on clearance, I think I'll take it apart so I can actually see how they do the whole waist area. But there is some movement in the waist, but not a lot. Of course, there is no thigh swivel, like with most of McFarlane's figures. But we can kick up like that. We can kick back like that. She can practically do the splits. So we are getting a high kick, man. She is kicking like King Shark in the jaw with this one. Double jointed knee. Very nice. She's got kind of like the little bat head on the front of her boots there. I don't know if you can see that, but again, this would be kind of cool colored in gold. We've got the ankle swivel and the hinge. So it's a double jointed ball thing, like a half a ball and half a ball, peg inside, peg inside. So it also moves independently of the rest, so that causes some issues. But so we can hinge up and down. I don't know which part is supposed to be forward in this case. But yeah, we have to hinge up and down. There's even a bat head thing on the bottom of her boot there. That's kind of funny. And she of course has the toe articulation. You know, that toe articulation, if it had the thigh swivel, this would be great. I wish McFarlane would put the damn thigh swivel in there. Although, kind of feels like her legs aren't lined up properly though in this figure. So when I try to stand her, well, I mean, standing some of these figures is always an issue. But I kind of feel like the legs aren't standing up straight. I had to move that back a little bit just to kind of get her to look kind of straight. So I think there is some QC issue. Like if we take a closer look here, and of course part of the problem is the diaper, right? It kind of looks to me like this leg is sitting lower than this one at the hips, and I don't know why it would be doing that. But I think that is a QC issue. And of course, it does look like there were some molding problems here at the thigh also. So if you can get a good look at the figure, if you find her, I would suggest doing it. But again, I only saw one of her at the store. So I'm thinking that this is not a very common figure right now. Might not ever be. Because I know some of the toy videos I see people talk about have the gold label and the platinum label McFarlane figures as being very hard to find. So let's take her little stupid launcher here and put it in her hand. At least they do have trigger fingers, but so I guess you can kind of do, if you want with this, a scene where she is launching her grapple. And again, that is such a terrible design, I think. That grapple, I feel like most of the grapples will end up in the spare parts box on most of these figures. I don't like it. This, I'm sure drawn in a comic it would look cool, but in 3D it just looks ridiculous. Sorry. However, let's see if she can hold her Batarang. This, I think, is also a common problem with the Bat family. Uh, some of the figures have made the Batarang with a specifically rounded part so that the figure can actually hold onto the Batarang properly. But McFarlane does give us an actual Batarang that is fully Batarang-ish. That whole bit just sounded kind of dumb to say. But anyway, I think you know what I'm trying to say here. But it also means it's a lot harder to pose it in the hand, and you just have to figure out the sweet spot for her to hold it. And apparently that sweet spot didn't last long. See, like with the Batgirl from the Three Jokers, her Batarang was sized so that was a little thinner, so that you could actually get her thumb and her trigger finger around the Batarang better. But I don't seem to be able to, I can't get that to work with this one. I can kind of do this, but that's not in there very well, and I think it's going to pop off again. So that's bad with this design as well. And even if a thinner one might not have been quite as accurate, maybe, for the character, because I don't know what her Batarangs looked like, which to me, I don't know why any of the Batarangs really look different, but I do think this should have been done thin enough so that it could fit in her hand. And who knows, maybe this is just a reuse of, say, one that came with the Dark Knight Batman. Because like I said, that's the symbol it reminds me of. Although I guess technically it does, well, it somewhat matches what she's wearing, but not much. And I think if they'd actually made this logo into a Batarang, it would have fit better because it would have had a bigger thing here, maybe taller. She also does have the belt pouches, and the front here also has little bat ears. Overall, the figure herself, I think she looks good. The cape definitely gives us a lot of posability options. Said earlier, I kind of put it out to do like the whole extending your Batwing thing. We can certainly have it blowing behind her as she runs. More or less. Like, so, yeah, you can pose her Bat cape. And I think that is definitely one of those things I want to see more of. I wish the Batgirl I'd gotten previously had done the same thing. Both of them. Cloth cape with the wire is definitely the way to go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at our Cassandra Cain version of Batgirl. Figure itself looks pretty good. I'm going to, I don't know if I want to necessarily give him a pass on the Uniboob thing, but it might be armor. Otherwise, she is wearing the strictest sports bra ever underneath there. And she doesn't really strike me as someone who's probably wearing underwear under her costume for some reason, but that's just me. But let me know what you think. Are you looking for this figure? Does it surprise you that she's out like it surprised me? I don't pay that much attention, I guess. If you enjoyed listening to me, please feel free to give me a like. And if you want to see more of my crap, a subscription will help you out with that. And if you didn't like anything I did, feel free to send this video to somebody you don't like and torture them with me instead. Peace and love.